All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we are going to be finishing up the uh, Russo-Japanese War. Okay, so here is your warm-up picture. Now, if you have the packet and the warm-up picture does not look like this, then you picked the wrong video. If it does, congratulations, you got the right video. Okay, so look at the picture. What do you see? Okay. Um, Look at the background, foreground, up, down, left, right, all that good stuff, okay? Second question, what do you think this artist is trying to say? Okay, now I know the words are kind of hard to read, but if you pause it and you really look at it, you can read what they say. Maybe not the person in the background, but you should already kind of have an idea who that is and then who's the person flying in the air in a sense. Okay, so pause this video, fill out those two questions, and then get ready for the notes, which will start in 3, 2, 1. All right. So if you missed the first part of the Russo-Japanese War, you should stop right now and go back to the other video and watch that. Okay? Because this is the second half of it. Now here's the thing. Japan tried to attack Russia's fortifications by land. They've been dominating them by the water, the navy, stuff like that. So now they try to go by land. And the thing is, they failed. The Russians held firm. But the thing is, Japan was persistent. In other words, they would keep coming and coming and coming. They would not stop. So Japan lost a lot of people, but because they kept attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking, it ended up wearing out the Russians. And basically, that persistence, it paid off. They eventually gained position on land near the harbor, and basically the Japanese fired relentlessly, you know, on the ships. Now, by the end of 1904, the Japanese Navy had sunk basically every single Russian ship in their fleet in that area. Okay, and in January 1905, the Russian Major General Stessel decided to surrender because he's like, you know what, we have no type of support. We have no ships in the area. We are being, we can fight the Japanese on land, but the thing is, they keep coming and coming and coming. They don't stop. And because of their consistency, we don't have time to rest. We are running out of resources, food, ammunition, things like that. So he basically felt there was no real reason to stay where they were and to fight on because all they're losing is time, men, food, weapons. Okay, so that was his mentality. That was his thinking. That's a picture of him right there. All right, so what ends up happening is when Stessel returns home, he's basically villainized. All right, he returns home and he's convicted of treason. He's arrested and he's sentenced to death. They basically have a trial, quote unquote trial, and they sentence him to death, saying that he's basically a traitor. You know, uh, he shouldn't have. Sorry about that. He shouldn't have surrendered. He should have fought to the end. Things like that. It wasn't until later that he would later be pardoned. They finally realized, okay, yeah, we get what you were doing, things like that. So now the thing is, with Russia distracted and basically deflated, their confidence, their adrenaline basically has died out. And the Japanese forces basically take control of the peninsula in modern day Korea. So if you look on the map, you can see the Korea in green. Okay, and the thing is, the first major battle of the war was the Battle of the Yalu River. Okay, now the Japanese won and basically forced the Russians to basically retreat back to Port Arthur. Okay, now here's the thing: winter then comes in. Now remember, winter there is like when is different from our winter. You know, when we feel a chill, it's like, oh, that's it. Oh, chill, it's cold. But yet it's like 50 degrees. Over there, it gets cold. I mean, really, really cold. Snow, things like that, blizzards. So because of the extreme cold, the fighting basically stopped in Manchuria. Okay, and if you look at the map, there's Manchuria. Okay, that section in yellow. Um, so basically, in a fight, the person who's losing usually does better when it comes to getting their rest back when there's a break, right? The team seem to recover, seem to recuperate, you know, and that's what Russia's hoping for. That with this kind of since winter break, that they can catch their breath, they can build up their confidence, build up their mojo, get that adrenaline back up, that type of thing. So here is my question to you. Do you think it's wise to basically, like Japanese did, sacrifice men to gain control of an area? Or do you think it's better to basically hold off and wait until you see a weak point and then attack? Okay, so before you answer it, think to yourself this. Think of your soldiers' morale, basically their faith, their belief, in you, their adrenaline, you know, and then their loyalty. Okay, because remember, if they start to lose, their morale is going to go low, so they're going to be like, well, what's the point of fighting? You know, um, and if you wait too long, their adrenaline is going to die out. They're going to be like, yeah, let's go. They'll be pumped up at first, but there's only so much you can pump yourself up if you're constantly waiting. Okay. Another thing is their loyalty to you. Okay. You lose, their loyalty probably go down. You win, they'll go up. You wait too long, they're gonna question, well, do they really know what they're doing? You know, don't they know why are they waiting for? Type of thing. They'll question your motives, you know. So which one do you think is better? To sacrifice men to gain control of an area or to hold off? And when I mean hold off, we're not talking about like a day or two, we're talking like months to then attack an area. Okay, so pause the video, think about it. How do you really feel? And then write it out. Again, there's the writing prompt. So go ahead and fill that out. And the notes will continue in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so here's the thing. February 20th, 1905, the fighting continues with Japan attacking the Russians at Mukden. Now, the thing is, the Japanese were able to get them to retreat. So they again did a surprise attack. Russia was not really expecting it. They're still licking their wounds, they're still feeling pumped and things like that. Now, the thing is, Russia, once they got attacked and they got pushed back, they said, you know what, let's do this. We can get this. So they kind of pumped themselves up and they decided to attack the Japanese. Now, after 3 weeks of fighting, basically the Japanese kicked them out again. Okay, so the Russians didn't really gain anything after 3 weeks of pumping themselves up and attacking and things like that, trying to win, just get a victory. Um, and they don't. Okay, uh, and this again deflates the Russian morale and their belief in themselves and things like that. Okay. Um, so now they're distracted and demoralized. They're just like, gosh, we cannot win for nothing. Jeez Louise. Um, and the thing is, Japan now is like, you know what? Let's look at this. How can we take this to our advantage? And they basically send troops down to the Korean peninsula and basically in 2 months take over the capital city and the peninsula. And they're gaining territory now. So on April 1904, Japan has now ready. They're set to attack Russia controlled Manchuria. So there's a map right there, Manchuria. Um, and they have a battle at the Yalu River. And again, Japan is successful. They kick Russians' butt out of that area. Okay, so again, there's Manchuria right there. You can see it. Okay, next page notes coming up right now. Now the thing is, Japan may have been winning the battles here and there, but they are losing people, and that is huge. That is significant. Okay. What's another thing that's significant is, remember I told you, the Japanese sunk all the Russian ships in that area. So if you notice when I said that area, you should have been thinking, well, didn't they destroy all of them? No, because there were some Russian ships in that top part of the map right there where Finland, Sweden, Poland, that area. That's the Baltic Sea. And basically, there were ships there. Now, what they had to do is if you look at the bottom map, they had to go at the bottom to the left. There's a little water you see. They had to go through there, around, up above, avoiding the ice and things like that, coming down and around to get to Manchuria, the Korean Peninsula, in that area. They had to travel 20,000 nautical miles. Back then, that was ridiculously fast. Nowadays, it's like, you should do that, no problem, you know. But back then, with the way technology was, how engines were, and things like that, that's a feat. That's amazing. So on May 27th, 1905, the Russians tried to get Port Arthur, um, and the thing is, they couldn't get through. The Japanese fought, you know, at this battle at the Straits. So imagine you're on a ship going from the Baltic Sea area. You go around, you guys are going top speed, you're avoiding icebergs, things like that, left and right, trying not to sink. And then you and 10 other ships get to the battle. You guys are ready to fight. You guys are fighting the Japanese, and y'all lose. And that's what happened. The Russians, of 11 ships, lost 8 of them. The other 3 survived. So again, Japan is just whooping on Russia. And now it got to the point where Russia's like, you know what? Let's call it. You know, we're not winning nothing. We're losing soldiers. We're The world's basically laughing at us. So they asked for a peace agreement. Right? So in total, both sides lost about 150,000 soldiers. China, remember, because a lot of the fighting happened in their area, their controlled towns and controlled territories, they lost about 20,000 people. Just civilians at the wrong place, wrong time, type of thing. And also, this was the first, not one of the first times, but it was really covered by the newspapers. Newspaper people were there, they were covering the war, what happened, and they basically said that the Russian soldiers were looting and burning villages, and also that they were raping and killing women who lived in those towns. So they were basically seen as like savages. Who goes into a town, burns it, and basically rapes and kills women, and stuff like that. So thing is, President Teddy Roosevelt actually invites both sides to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, to discuss peaceful talks. And they're basically there throughout the spring and summer of 1905. Okay. Now the thing is, they agree. Basically, Japan wins. Right. But the thing is, now Japan is broke. They have no money. They spent all their money on ships and feeding their soldiers, paying them, ammunition, things like that. So they are broke. Russia had lost a lot of soldiers. I mean, a lot of soldiers. And a lot of their supplies, were used up, destroyed, things like that. Excuse me. Now, because of this brokering the deal, Roosevelt won the Nobel Peace Prize, basically for getting both sides to talk and things like that. Okay. So here's my question to you: would you rather win a fight and like lose all your money? You have no money whatsoever, and whatever money you get, it's already gone. But hey, you won. You have your pride. You have, you got some respect from the world, but you can't have any money. It's like right when you get it's gone, um, for several years. Or would you rather lose a fight? You still get money, but the thing is, you are severely injured, and basically the world's laughing at you. You know, and you can't do anything. You're really hurt for several years. So which one would you rather be? In which shoes would you rather be in? Okay. So those are your two options. That's it. There's nothing in between. So if you do write something in between, basically you're only going to get like 1 point out of this because again, that's not your options. Okay, so do not make like some other students did, make your own options and like, oh, I would do this and I would do this, I would have this. No, these are your options. Pick one or the other, and why would you pick that one or the other? Okay. So, with that being said, this is the end of the video. This is the end of the Russo-Japanese War. Hopefully, you learned something new. Hopefully, something stuck. Okay. Be sure that when you look at your packet that your name is on it and then turn it into the basket near the door. Okay, again, do not put it on my desk. It will get lost. Okay, so that's it. You guys have a good day. Take care and be safe.